What are some major common misconceptions in astrology? My name is Coach Matt. I am a Master Certified Spiritual Life Coach. I'm also a Master Certified Astrologer as well, and it's something that I utilize in my practices. In all of my spiritual life coaching programs, you actually do get an in-depth natal chart reading, which is your astrology reading for yourself based off of your birth date and your birth time and location. So what are some misconceptions in astrology that we have today? If you are interested in working with us, by the way, go check out the links in the description. A lot of people today are really big into astrology. Not astronomy, not the scientific study, but more of the mathematical and pattern-based study in understanding yourself and events that could be occurring worldwide. Some of the misconceptions that I see are really dramatic. A lot of people already are talking about the duality between like traditional Western astrology versus Eastern sidereal astrology. This would be like tropical versus Vedic. And the reason for this is because the Vedic astrology, I've talked about this on our channel before. The Vedic astrology uses placements that are accurate in the sky. However, just because they're accurate doesn't mean that it's how we're impacted down here. And then the tropical accounts for the precession of the equinox and the way that energy bends and refracts through space. So if you actually study astrology and you work with an astrologer, the best ones, quite honestly, use tropical. This is far and wide, and the reason for that is because the sidereal is a lot less accurate. That does not mean that sidereal does not have its place. It doesn't mean that Vedic astrology is wrong, because it's not. It's based off of the accuracy, and there are certain things that you can utilize in Vedic and sidereal astrology that really go a very long way with understanding yourself. I won't get into the very specific details. I myself look at all forms of the astrological breakdowns. There are some that I can't even speak on because it might even get me in trouble, because certain astrologies are used by the upper echelons, the upper elites, that most people just don't know about. But what I will say is some of the misconceptions are that the Western astrology is wrong because of the accuracy of the placements of where the planets are. For example, if somebody says, oh, you know, the sun is in Aries, we're in spring, this is March. Technically, the sun is actually still in Pisces in the sky. You can even see it. You can't really see it because of the sun's placement, but if you could see the stars behind the sun, it would actually be in Pisces technically. However, that's not the way that the energy bends and impacts the earth. If that were the case, then spring would not start on the spring equinox roughly around March 21st. For most of the northern hemisphere, it would start around April 21st, because we've already gone 2,000 years past the precession of the equinox. And we are shifted essentially, for the most part, in the age of Aquarius. I also see people saying, no, we're in the age of Pisces. That's wrong. That's not true. We're in the age of Aquarius. The reason for this is because 2,000 years ago, when we shifted from the age of Aries into the age of Pisces, it's called what was known as the 0 point. The 0 point was designated as year 0 because of Jesus Christ's birth, and they were waiting for a messianic or christened figure. They were waiting for somebody, when the planets aligned, so to speak, during that time, for somebody to come and deliver the truth, which would have been the physical embodiment and reflection and representation of the inner alchemy that happens within our bodies, which would be, again, known as the sacred secretion Christos Kundalini cycle. So people who don't know that, that's fine. People have their own systems. I even see people who are creating their own systems. That's cool. If it works for you, it works for you. Now, what I do is I have studied under a wide variety of people, some of which are even pretty egotistical in their approach. They're like, my way is the right way, and blah, blah, blah. I've created my own system, blah, blah, blah. I utilize this, I utilize that. If it works for you, it works for you. I have a pretty very, very, very high accuracy rating when it comes to my readings. However, I don't make my own system. I just do whatever I do, and I interpret things, and I ask people questions. And the science is just there. Once you understand the science and the functionality of how it works, it's like you start blowing people's minds. People who don't even believe in astrology, I have read their charts, and there's no way that you could have known that. I even, in fact, and I will put right hand to God, and I will tell you, you can go and ask the Gnostic Pope, Widows Miho on TikTok, who's got a very large following himself. I've actually even guessed his birth time. I've guessed other people's birth time. The closest I ever got was within 1 minute, and that was off of very little information, and the person did not even know who they didn't know their birth time at all. They gave me like a birth time that was like hours away, and I said, no, I think you're born around this time. I was 1 minute off. They found their birth certificate. So when you understand the way that the astrology functions, you can actually interpret details about a person and the ways that they can live more authentically in order to be the best version of themselves. That's really what astrology should be used for, not predictions or making I don't do like divinations or predictions with events and stuff. Now I can say, hey, you got this transit that's coming up in your chart. You should, be cautious over the next couple months and do your own due diligence. And it's always going to end up occurring, not just because of the planetary alignments, but because of the energy that they are now going to put out there. So I'm very, very careful with the way that I do my reading. So if you're looking for a very practical reading to apply to your life, go check us out. We got tons of different information in the on our shop online. The link's in the description. But yeah, a lot of misconceptions in astrology these days. There are a number of them. For example, just the concept of Ophiuchus. People don't know whether or not they are an Ophiuchian, Sagittarian or not. Of course, Ophiuchus would be the 13th zodiacal sign, which represents a lot of things: the serpent bearer, the serpent charmer, the snake in the grass, or even the Christ itself. The Christ as in the title, not the person. The Christos, the illuminated one. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is essentially at the center of our galaxy. It's the black hole center. It's the negatively charged center, and we live in a quite a negative world. So there's a lot that goes into that. But anyway, the thing about Ophiuchus is, yes, it plays a huge major role in astrology. Further than that, though, if you're a Sagittarius, you're a Sagittarius. That's just like the energy that you really should understand from a fundamental level. Sagittarius is, of course, the half man, half horse, but it truly represents either being a man or a beast. So it's crucially important to understand that from that side of things. It's not just like, oh, I'm an Ophiuchus, that means like I'm better than other people. That's not what it means. You have to work towards the positive aspects of your signs. Another great example would be this, I see this misconception, and a lot of people are talking about it because people haven't done their due diligence and research into a lot of the deeper esoterics on astrology. That's not judging them or anything like that. It's just more so like people are very adamant about these things. I see double placements all the time. Oh, the planet Venus rules both Taurus and Libra. Why? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe what you believe? Why? We always talk about this, going to origin. Each one of the zodiacal signs, each one of the 12 actually represents a different figure in the sky. So I'll give it to you just like flat right now. Aries is Mars, purely. Taurus is the Earth itself, purely. Gemini is Mercury, purely. Cancer is the Moon, purely. Leo is the Sun. Virgo are the asteroids and the smaller bodies up in the sky. Libra is Venus. What's next? Scorpio is Pluto. Sagittarius is Jupiter. Capricorn is Saturn. Aquarius is Uranus. And Pisces is Neptune. A lot of people don't recognize that Virgo rules over asteroid bodies. It doesn't purely rule over Mercury. Oh, Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. Why? Like, you don't even know why you believe that. You don't even know the misconceptions of why the astrology came out, of why they fundamentally changed that. And it is true, Virgo has a minor aspect from Mercury. Taurus has a minor aspect from Venus. Scorpio has a minor aspect from Mars. Those are true, yes, but they're not ruled by them. There is no, that doesn't exist. There are 12 bodies for a very specific reason. You have the sun in our solar system, just like you have 12 parts of the body. Okay, the kidneys, which are ruled by Venus, and the cerebellum, which is ruled by Taurus, the lower mind, the neck, the throat, they're not the same thing. The closest you could make an equate to that would be the two amygdala, which kind of look like little kidneys in the limbic system of the brain in relation to the kidneys itself. Maybe. I mean, if you really want to do it that way. Why would the top of the head and the genitals be ruled by the same thing? It's like there's alchemistic aspects to these things, and that's just not, it's not the way that it works. So the understanding of even the base level of what rules what in astrology, people are going to use that, and then they're going to say, oh, well, your Venus is placed here, Venus is ruled by Taurus, we have to look at this, blah, blah, blah. There is an earth metric. It opposes the sun, that is mostly ruled by Taurus, but it's a very minor aspect. Taurus is like it's a very interesting one because it basically has three rulers. The earth itself would be the main ruler, then Venus and the moon are secondary. This is because of its exaltation, right? And exaltation just means like it's where the moon gets most of its power from. You also have it's at home in Cancer, which would be in like June, late June, early July. But it gets exalted in the sign of Taurus. Very different things. And again, these things are conflated. Now, people can disagree with me. They can say I'm wrong. That's totally fine. I'm fine with being wrong. The reality is this is what I apply in my spiritual life coaching. And if you study the Kabbalah, if you study the human body, if you understand the ways in which the astrology aligns with not only the body from the medical astrology standpoint, but the Kabbalistic standpoint and all of the alchemical standpoints, which are even further than that, and the energies of the directions, which would be like cardinal, fixed, and mutable, the modalities, or even the elements, the fire, water, earth, and air. There's just all these things. I mean, I could even get into the fact that Aquarius is technically the first zodiacal sign from the macrocosmic sense. From the microcosmic sense, it's Aries. That's the one that everybody uses. Oh, Aries is the top of the head and Pisces are the feet, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's true, but there's also stacked layers of creation. This is why there's a Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Again, it's a stacked layer of creation. So you have to go back 2 stages. Pisces of duality would be the matrix, the eternal mother. It's deceptive. It has a veil. Aquarius, the Alpha and the Omega. And then Aries would be the sun from that standpoint, and we represent the reflection of the sun. We are made in the image of God. There's like so many things that people don't really know, and the deeper aspects and the deeper truths of astrology. But I could be totally wrong. I'm not gonna come out here and say that like my way is the best way, but this is something that I do apply to my everyday coaching and in my natal chart sessions. So if you are interested in learning from us, or if you're interested in learning how to read astrology properly, or if you're interested in getting a natal chart reading or even an astrological forecast, I can actually take a look at where you are currently in your life and what the next projection of the next week, month, or 6 months or year is going to be. If any of this interests you, go to our website, check us out on our shop. You can find all the information there. Sign up for our spiritual life coaching program if that interests you as well. Lots of love to you guys. I love you guys so much. Many, many, many blessings to all of you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.